Hello and welcome to today's video, which is about some recordings I made with my friend Nachtzeit almost exactly 14 years ago to this day. About 1 or 2 weeks prior is the date now that I'm recording this, at the end of May. We made the recordings of Veins and some EP and demo recordings, like the second edition of Svamped, and split songs together that was intended for several bands that I've since then lost contact with, and the few friends that I had in common that would enable me to have these contacts are simply gone from my social environment for various reasons. So I decided to compile some of these songs onto a compilation instead. So today I'm talking about Veins and Gamla, which is Swedish for old wounds, featuring tracks that was made during that recording, and then an extra track from the Dimhim split that was recorded about a half year later in the weekend with the same lineup, which I'll talk about more in another video, which will be focusing a bit more about Sköld and Rakbladsvalsen, Cold and the Razor Waltz. So what I want to say mostly is that, as most of you at least know, is that I prefer to use my mother tongue, which is Swedish, for the different albums and concepts of Hypothermia, because that enables me to go a bit deeper and maintain a more honest but also a bit more spiritual and folkloric kind of approach to my music and my art, and whatever you want to call it. So to commemorate this in one way or another, today I'm drinking a nice little beer from Sierra Nevada, which donates some of its funds gained from this to Victims by Campfire, which I think is a really nice initiative. So I wish more breweries would do something like that. And to me, one of the most satisfying sounds in the world is definitely the opening of a beer can, and that's something that was very important for the recordings of Veins. We borrowed like an old farm in the countryside of the north, where Nachtzeit lives, and it belongs to his grandmother. So we were very fortunate to be able to borrow her property for a bit more than a week that we stayed at that place, or almost exactly a week. And our friend Peter from Durthang was the driver and sound technician for us during that week, simply because it's far away from any closer city, and he was a friend of ours who has a license and a car, so it makes a big sense. And yeah, it's less common in Sweden that everyone has a license than in other countries. We have pretty well functioning public transport. And still, sure, it takes me about 10 hours to take a train to his place. It would be impossible to go to that kind of countryside with any buses. So, in other words, it's perfect for the music of Hypothermia, and since that recording, that really made an important kind of atmosphere for me, that really showed me what hypothermia can be and what's important for me to really tap into that kind of atmosphere, to have that environment, to have nothing around me, like what you heard just a minute ago outside here. That's, even though I live in a small community of around 200 people in the countryside, there is still sometimes signs of human activity in life, and that's something that I simply can't have when I'm recording music, because when we are in the zone and recording with hypothermia, we're no longer humans, we're just vessels that aid to manifest the true essence of nature and whatever lies beyond or within it. So no distractions or other people can be around. And I really discovered that during this recording of Veins and Gamba Sore, because that was the first time that we had real access to getting into that kind of atmosphere and immersing ourselves in the music and in the recordings and rehearsals of the songs, and not caring too much about what's day or night, but simply immersing ourselves entirely into the material by hypothermia and meditating ritually into it, and really becoming a part of it, so that we are merely extensions of that divine will. And my old recordings are also a testament to my ideals, that I want to be as honest and transparent as possible with all my fans and listeners, and for me hypothermia is my life project, something that will be like my what I leave behind, and what will mark all my achievement, what truly matters to or through me. So I don't throw away all my recordings, but decide to sometimes share some of my flaws or mistakes or weaker material, because I want you all to hear and experience how we grow and develop as musicians and artists and composers, and how the vision grows stronger and into something more clear, and something of higher definition and clarity, and the never-ending devotion to that, which should be evident with every recording that follows, because I've never stopped taking steps to go forward, and I think you'll hear that clearly through those recordings that we made that year, and in the compilation, which features special edition or version of Urangisfödd, Born Out or Through Anxiety, Aus Angst geboren, which was a song that means a lot to me still to this day, because that song really made a difference from my past songs that were not as much my own, or maybe even too much my own. They were a bit too conscious. They weren't true channelings or manifestations of something from nature. They had too much of my own identity, and that's something that I want to have at as little as possible in my recordings. I want to have my true vision, because that's what shapes what it becomes, and that's an important difference to make. And yeah, I can say that I honestly deeply appreciate having this kind of interaction with you. It's something new for me, which is why sometimes I will not have the time or strength to make all the videos week by week, but I will do my very best to deliver the amount that I have promised on a monthly basis, which I changed my Patreon account to, because I know with my busy schedule in both work and personal life that I wouldn't be able to be honest to myself or to those of you who listen to this. And I have a bad habit of taking up too many plans or trying to realize too many things at the same time. And I'm trying to change that, or at least improve myself, rather to evolve beyond something like that, because I know that it's counterproductive to make 10 plans. If I can't realize more than one of them, then it's better to maybe make 2 or 3 more realistic plans. And of course that's not news to any one of you, I hope, but as you all also know, that I'm a man of action, and if you're waiting for something from me, no matter what it is, you're going to receive it from me at some point, either in person or by mail. That depends on who you are and where you are. And that has always been the case and always will be. But back to the topic at hand. This camera shuts me off sometimes, so I'm sorry about the rough editing, but I don't have the time or energy or funds to learn to make it better or have someone do it for me. The few people I know that does that kind of thing are way too busy and have a career doing that, and they don't have time to help me for free, and I can't pay them. So I hope that you're okay with what you're getting, because this is it. And as always, if you have any questions about whatever it is that I'm doing with my life or with my bands and projects, just let me know in the comments. It feels like it's getting closer to have a proper Q&A session, and in the future, when I have a bit more time and access to better internet, I will definitely be available for having a few live ones as well. And I'm planning some other live streams in the not too distant future, maybe sometime in autumn or winter. But there will be more updates about that, of course. Sorry for the ramble. I'm distracted now because I need to leave this place soon. not life, but this this room that I'm in right now, to another city where I'm currently working. And that's something I'm going to talk a bit more about in the second video that I'm making for you all today, which will be followed by a new ambient atmospheric piano 2-song EP by my other project, Consider Suicide, which will be covered more in the next video. So the songs beyond Ausgangsgeboren that will be on the compilation is another song that was composed around 2002 and recorded 2005 during that session in Norderåsen. Is the song called Julia, which some people have asked about, and that was on a very limited vinyl release with my friends in the Regnum and Trist, and some other guys that Jan wanted to have on that recording or release. And of course I feel that it's a very atmospheric song that deserves to be shared with more people, so my friend Hector from Self-Mutilation Services in Mexico is releasing the CD and I'm releasing the tape, and we're not sure about who's doing the vinyl yet, so updates will follow about that. And another song on that compilation is Att älskas, or To Love, or To Be Loved, or To Love. And it's a song about overcoming love or hatred, or the border between and beyond them, and just a very honest self-reflection that I had to make around that time. And it's a song we performed at many concerts in the early days of Hypothermia Live, like maybe between 2007 and 2010 or so. It was on most of our concerts. And you will recognize the similar production on those different songs as well, because when we arrived at the house or farm that we had borrowed to record the Veins, we discovered that there was something wrong with the amplifier, and back then we didn't have much knowledge about anything we could do to fix it, and I'm not sure if it was broken or just something we fucked up. But we ended up having to get another amplifier, and with that short notice we were only able to get a amplifier for a bass, and it works perfectly fine to record guitars through that, but of course it will have a completely different sound, which you can hear on those recordings. They have a very dark kind of aura to them, and yeah, I really like that sound, and it's more for the atmosphere than the songs themselves that I really wanted to make these releases available again, especially the compilation, because it features songs that are 14 years old or older that many of you haven't heard beyond what some have shared illegally through the internet, from getting them from me personally, and of course sharing them to other people without my consent, but that's what happens. So I really look forward to be able to have that release out, and I hope you will enjoy it. And as always, if you're not already subscribing, please do so. And any likes or shares are always appreciated. And we have web shops at both A Symphony to the Void and Vemodsorkestern on Squarespace and Bandcamp. Or you can go to enjoy.com, which has links to at least my shop. And we also have a Patreon where you can help me to make more videos and more recordings. And that's something that I will cover a bit more in my next video here. So thank you for watching, take care and skål!